that is their PTZ and serial joystick controller. So joystick controller, if you've never used PTZ cameras, is really cool because it lets you focus on specific items, move around quickly if you need to. It can control multiple cameras and multiple camera angles. And with 2 PTZ cameras in a small church setting, you can do just about anything. It works with the Avkans right away, but it'll also work with Fomaco. It'll work with PTZ optics. It works with any Visca IP compatible. This is the instruction manual on it. It's going to tell you all about the setup of it. It's going to have all the information about how to use it. It does up to 6 channels, and it has a LCD control and a 4-dimensional joystick there. So pan, tilt, zoom, and lock capability. It does have a serial interface block that you can use. We're going to go here. This is that locking barrel jack. Love to see that on production gear. So this is going to be your 12-volt adapter, and it's going to come with a US cord here. So here's the unit, well packaged, very safe. Doesn't look very big, but it packs a whole lot of features into this small package. So back over here, if we take a look at the interface options, so there's your serial with the RJ45 connector. There's your older serial. Oh, sorry, those are your tally lights. My bad. Your RS232. Now your tally light connector is pretty cool. So this has the feature that if you highlight a camera like camera 1 or camera 2, it can turn on that red light, that analog light above the camera. So this is a tally light block. And then there's your threaded barrel jack. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the IP side here. This is how we use it. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my PoE switch. And I'm going to go through the process here of how you would set this all up. You can see the Avkans logo. It's starting up here. You probably won't get to see the cool page here. So you can see the status. It has the camera, the IP address. This is memorizing everything that it had into it in the ROM. Now, how would we find the camera IP address for our previous camera, right? So it's not connected to whatever we want. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to grab the remote control for my PTZ camera, and I'm going to hit the menu button on it. Then I'm going to go to status, and then I'm going to go to IP address, and there is my range. So it's 158 is the IP address. Now I'm going to hit menu and get out of that. That's important. I'm going to come back over to this one, and I'm actually going to go into the setup of it. So I'm going to do camera 1. I'm going to change the camera IP address on this. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now if we've done everything right and we come down to this call, now what you can see is as I pan and tilt here on the side to side, I'm actually turning the camera. So if I were to switch this other one to the front view, you can actually see the camera moving around while I turn this. Now what's neat about this is I can actually go to those presets that I set earlier, and I can do this for up to 6 cameras, remember? So I have these buttons here on the controller where I can specifically go to the individual cameras. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have some controls over here on the left side if I want to do white balance and all these other amazing things. This is our church, and this was our last Sunday service here. We have an ATEM with a multi-view there, and we've got the Avkans IP joystick controller here plugged in with 2 different brands of cameras right now. So you can see these are our 2 PTZ cameras here on the screen. We have silver and we have black. Silver is the Avkans, obviously. And so we're able to very quickly make adjustments or zoom in to a specific item that we want to show. Now in this case, I wanted to show how easy it is to move live your view when you have 2 cameras. So I switched to the second camera here because I want to move the Avkans camera from one person that's up there in the worship team, and I want to move it onto somebody else. So you can see in that little tiny view there, it's moving. I'm sliding this camera over. The live view hasn't changed for the congregation, but I'm actually going to zoom in here to the worship leader because I want his face to be the one that we're showing in the next scene. So if you're a tech director at a church, you can use one of these types of devices with up to 6 cameras. So in this case, I actually have our worship leader squared up the way we want. I'm going to go on the ATEM and I'm going to hit a button now, and I can put him up there with the lyrics so you can see how nice that looks. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the second camera angle. This is with the other brand of camera here, the black one, and I'm going to go ahead and move this into a different orientation. I think I actually take it over back the other way here. So you can use this to kind of control and have flexibility. I always like to have one base view that you can come back to. But here we're going to go to the base player, speaking of that. So if I want to go here, instead of using auto exposure, I can hit a button, you'll see that it darkens him down, and I can use that knob to adjust until I get it just right. So you can adjust your, they call it iris in the PTZ world, but you're adjusting your exposure basically. And then I can switch over to that camera angle. Now if we look at our broadcast, which is going out of OBS, it's using that red boxes around the silver camera, and it was that easy. So again, you're gonna have your exposure, white balance, one push white balance to set it. You're going to have auto focusing capability versus manual focusing ability here. And then you're going to have this zoom. So now you can see if I do this, I'm showing you my little inset is here. I can zoom in and out. You see how those controls work. I can also use this paddle zoom, and it's actually a little bit more gentle sometimes for people. So you can do that. You can hit this button on the top too. If you don't want somebody accidentally bumping into this or twisting it, I just hit the lock button. I can hit it again and unlock it. And now I have that capability. This is from Avkans. We're taking a look today at their joystick controller.